Hello everyone, this is Hers and you are watching WPF World. In this video, we are going to learn about the data type, the common data type which developers use in their coding. So let's start it. Here I will talk about the number and I will give you the example of all the data type. We can learn this thing with example. Okay. We have two type of numbers. One is integer and another is floating point. Floating points means if we have value with decimal point, then it is called a floating point. Okay. In integer, we have four type: byte, short, int, long. And in floating point, we have three: float, double, and decimal. We will learn all the data type one by one with example. So let's start it. In last video, you have learned how to create the program in C Sharp. Okay. In this video, we are going to see the example of data type. So let's start with byte data type. We can create the variable using the data type and the variable name. I will say it as byte here, okay. And we will assign some value. Okay, we want to see the output this of that byte. How to see the value? We can write like this: console.writeLine. This is the class and this is the method. We are passing that variable. We want to see this value. Now let's run and see the result. You can see 10, right? The value of byte where. Now let's see the maximum and minimum value of byte data type. We can write byte dot max value. It will give the maximum value that can be stored in byte data type. And we can see by min value. This min value will give the minimum value which can be assigned in byte data type. Let's run and see the result. You can see here 255 is the maximum value of byte and 0 is minimum value. If we try to assign some negative value, we will get that error, right? And also if we want to store some value greater than 255, it will give the error. Okay. Now let's move to the next data type. I will add one separator here. Okay. Next data type is sort. I will copy this and I will replace byte with sort. Okay. Now let's run and see the maximum and minimum value of the sort data type. You can see this, the sort data type maximum value is greater than byte, right? If we want to store some value more than 255, then what we have to use? We have to use the sort data type. If we don't want to store the more value than 255, if we don't want to store any value greater than 255, then we can use the byte data type. Let's see the next data type. Next is int. Okay. I will replace this with int. Okay. Let's run and see the result. You can see here the minimum and maximum value is more than the sort data type. If we want to store some value which is more than or lesser than the sort data type, then we can use int data type. Okay. Now let's see the long data type. See, the maximum value is more than integer data type. If we want to store some value more than that, this range, then we can use long data type. Now let's move to the floating data type. In floating we have multiple type. I will start with float. Okay. I will replace this. What is the floating data type? If we want to store some value which have the decimal point, then we can use the floating data type. But if you can see here, we are getting the error because compiler will understand by default it is a it as double. So to make it float, we have to use the F. You can also use that capital F or a small f, any f you can use. Let's run and see the result. See the maximum value of this. If you can see here, e plus 38 means 10 to the power 38. Okay, now let's see the double floating point value. You can see here we can store float value to double because float is lesser than double, so we can do that. But if we want to store the double value, we can just do that because it is the double by default. Any decimal value is double by default. Okay, so if we run this, we can get the result. You can see for double we have how many decimal point? 10 to the power 308, right? More than the floating point. If we have some value which have the decimal point more than the float, then we can use the double. Okay, we can use d for the double. Okay, it will also work. Let's run and see the result. See, we are getting the same result. We have another type which is decimal. Let's see. We can see here, if we give the d, if we add d, then it will give the error because it is not a double, right? We want to store decimal value. You can see here we can't store the double to decimal because the range of the decimal is less than the double. Okay, that's why we can't store this value. This will also not work because it will also a double value. So to make it as decimal, we have to use some key here. Use, if you can see here, it is showing use a m suffix to create a letter of this type. So we can use that. Now if we run this, then we will get the result. You can see this is the range of decimal value. Okay, you can see the range is lesser than the double. Okay, we can also store the value as scientific. How we can do that? E means 10 to the power 2. It will also work for floating point. Let's run and see the result. See, 100 into 10 to the power 2. 100 into 100, right? So 10,000, right? This is how we can write as scientific number. We can also write the double as scientific number. We can do the same thing, but this time we will add the minus. Now what will be the output? 100 into 10 to the power minus 2, right? So 100 by 100. Let's run and see the result. You can see 100 by 100, 1, right? We can do this way as well. We can define floating value as scientific. Now we will see the Boolean type. Boolean can have value only true or false. Means in Boolean we have only two value, true or false. So let's see how to declare that. We can declare Boolean value with bool keyword. Okay. Here we can only assign false or true. We don't have max value and min value property in this Boolean. Okay. So we can delete this. Let's run and see the result. See, this is false. Okay. If we want to store the value true or false, then we can use the Boolean type. We can also store true. If we run this value will be true. Okay, now we have the character data type. So how to declare that? We can declare that with char keyword. Char. What is character? Character is any alphabet. Okay, so we can declare with single quote any alphabet A. Okay, we can also store the number as character, but it should be in single quote. We can't write multiple character inside this. If we want to write this, it will give the compile time error. Okay. Now we will see the value of this char. Let's run and see the result. We can see 1, right? We can also have any alphabet, any single character. Either it is alphabet or it is number or any symbol. See, I hope you understand this data type. We have one more data type which is string. How to declare that? We can declare that string data type with string keyword. What is the string? String is any text what we are writing is the string data type, right? So it will be always in the double quote. Any value which is inside the double quote is string. We can write anything. If we run this, we will get WP world. And we can also say the string data type is a collection of character. And as you know, the string data type is reference data type. So if we change the value to any of the variable of the string data type, then the reference variable will also change. Let's see with example what I'm trying to say. I will create one string and I will assign the value with this. Now I want to change this value. I will change some value like WPF. Okay, or we can write C#. So as it is reference type, then this value should change, right? But let's see what will happen. Now I want to show all the variable value. Let's run and see the result. You can see we have initialized string var1 with string var, which is taking the first value. When I was assigning string var to string var1, what was the value with string var? That string var is taking, right? But not the updated value. You may have question. It is reference type, it should change. But there is one twist here. What is that? String is also immutable. Means if you want to change some value, it will not update that reference, right? It will create a new string type and then it will update that reference. That's why you can see that this value is not updated with this one, right? Because how it works, it will create the new string like this, right? That's why it is a new object. This is different thing, right? Here we have different location and here when we create the object, they have different address, right? That's why it is not updated to this. So if we want to update this thing, then like whenever we are changing that variable value, it is creating the new object because it is immutable, right? So if we don't want to create every time the object, we have one class string builder. Using string builder, we can create the string, but it will be mutable. Means we can change the value, it will change the same address, right? String builder. Okay, add the namespace. This class we can find under system.text. So we have to add this namespace. Okay, now I will create one string with value WPF world. Okay, now what we want? We want some other string builder variable which will store the str. Okay, now I want to change this value str to something else. Now what I want to do, I want to change this string value. We have WPF world. Now we can append. We have the method append. Okay. Here I will append some text like space or .com. Okay. Now I want to see the value of str and str1. Let's run and see. You can see in both the variable str1 and str2 we have WPF world. Means it is not creating any new object, right? Whenever we are changing the value of the string builder object, it is not changing. Here also we can check, like we don't want to initialize new value, we want to add. How to do that? Means how to append that? We can use string equal to string plus C#, right? Means we are appending C# to WPF world. Let's run and see the result. See here, that value is not updated, right? String var1, it is not updated. It is taking older value, not the updated value. But if you can see in string builder, it is taking the updated value. I hope you understand all the data type with the example, right? I hope now you know when should use what data type. If you found any mistake, correct me in comment. If this is helpful for you, then you can share this video to others.